Because what we do so well in this world is we see superhuman people and we title them. The second we title them, what that does, that gives us a get out of jail free card, is that they're the 1%ers. I'm not even going to try to do that because that's not even in me. God made them special. They're special people. There are no special people. They're special minds. And the mind can be created on your own. You can do that yourself. So that's why I write the book like I write it, so people can look at me and say, my God, he came from this. He had to overcome all of this. So I take away all the titles, even crazy, even the fact that he's superhuman. All those titles are now stripped away. But what's funny about that, you will have my book in your hand. You will read it in its entirety. You will hear the audio book, whatever you get. And by the time you get to chapter 9 or 10, you already forgot chapter 1, 2, and 3 of the hell I came through. That's how fast the mind wants to soften you up and say, this guy's just nuts. He's superhuman. That's how fast the mind, you already forgot what you read. And you love the book. You're loving the book. And you already forgot the first 3 chapters because your mind is saying, this is impossible. It's already guiding you down that path of least resistance as you're reading the book. That's how powerful it is. So we got to constantly remind ourselves of, go back to chapter 1, 2, and 3. Always remind yourself of those chapters, of that you can also do this. But you have to first self-examine or live autopsy your own personal life. I didn't receive any advice. And that's the thing about it. When I grew up, I just didn't receive any advice. My family was in such turmoil that the best advice I received was from myself. And that has to be to study yourself, all the bad, because the good's already there. You need to study that. Study the bad stuff about yourself and learn from that and grow. Sure. I was very blessed to not have that. And, and that's how I looked at my life too, not to get off the 5 questions, but I looked at my life in a way that I was able to find so much strength in negativity. I was able to flip it upside down versus me thinking, woe is me. My life sucks. I was able to say, my God put me in the perfect training ground to study myself, to become a straight up, scientist of my mind. But I was afraid to jump out of airplanes, afraid of cold water, afraid of myself. So there's so many things that can hurt me, but the biggest thing that can hurt me is myself, is allowing my mind to get away from the reality. We build a false reality in our minds. The real reality is the one thing that the false reality is the one thing that can hurt you. Yeah. The real reality is the one thing you can help and fix yourself. So this is very uncomfortable for me. Even though I'm comfortable with you, I know there's a lot of eyeballs on me right now. So it's very uncomfortable for me. I used to stutter real bad. So it's trying to be in a spot where I am in that monk-like mentality everywhere I go, and not allow the past demons of even I'm successful now. But you still have those moments where you go back and your mind's like, remember when you were 6 years old and you stuttered profusely at this play and you were so, it's those things that come back to you all the time. So that's what it is. I tell myself, I used to believe I was the weakest man that God ever created. So now I believe that I'm the hardest human being that God ever made. I don't care if it's true or not. It's the most important conversation to me. It's the thing that drives me every day. It's the one thing that keeps me going every day, is that you must constantly be that man that you want to be. I used to have a wash rag when I did this. And you know how you take a shower, you have a wash rag and a cloth, and you're sitting there and you're just lathering up. And before you hang your rag up, you want to get all the water to come on it and, get it all the suds out of it. You want to wring it out and you want to hang it up. So my big thing is, when I live my life, I want to make sure that I wring that wash rag out, and that wash rag is my soul. And I also believe that we're going to end up one day meeting a maker, if you believe in one. And I believe that maker knows everything about you. Everything about you. Knows I was going to be here and talking to you. Knows everything. But you also have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. You have choices. And the one thing that scares me to death in my life is getting to heaven and not being where I'm supposed to be. And I believe that God has a chart, and he looks at the chart and he puts it in front of you when you get to heaven. He says, hey, this is what you're supposed to be. And one of my biggest fears in life was to see that chart and not have every block checked off. I want to make sure that I'm constantly pursuing whatever it is I'm pursuing just to be the best. Just constantly grinding myself into a fine powder, but doing it in a smart way. Like I talked about, you can constantly grind yourself into a point where you're just sick. There's a happy medium of grinding. So that's my purpose now, to continue to push myself so others can see what is possible.
How about this? How about we take a fucking inventory of ourselves? We look at ourselves in the mirror and we tell ourselves the truth. We look at our lives and we tell ourselves the truth. Truth is this. It's very simple. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. You've either been executing or you haven't been executing. You either are truly ready to make a fucking change or you're not. But it doesn't matter how many people who are motivational people, personal development people, they're all going to be putting out some fucking message for y'all, right? It doesn't matter how many of these we listen to. It doesn't matter how many fucking videos you watch. It doesn't matter how many courses you buy. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what you're going to do. Monday, people are going to finally fucking decide they want to start. And dude, out of 100 people, 3 of them going to make it to Wednesday. And 1 of them's going to make it fucking, for the year. That's the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a fucking culture that rewards mediocrity and fucking villainizes ambition and winning and wanting to be better. That's all we see on the internet these days. Very rarely do we celebrate other people winning. Very rarely do we celebrate other people's accomplishments. Very rarely do we celebrate people changing their lives for the better. We live in a victim fucking society that's full of fucking weak ass motherfuckers. That's the truth. Who can look at a before and after picture and instead of fucking saying, God, dude, fuck yeah, man, that motherfucker did it. That dude lost 100 pounds. That woman got her life back. That person built a multi-million-dollar business. And because we're so weak as a society that we can't celebrate other people's success, we make up this fake victim bullshit about diet culture or fucking success culture or all this shit to make other people feel better because they feel bad because they won't do the shit. Look, man, this is the truth. This show's called Real AF, and it ain't for everybody. I ain't for everybody. I ain't trying to be for everybody. Some of you are going to do it, and some of you won't. That's the truth. Now, if you want to do it, if you're committed to doing it, if you're ready to make a fucking change, there's lots of people out there with lots of good information that can help you. But at the end of the day, not one of those motherfuckers is going to do the work for you. Not one of those motherfuckers can do the work for you. And you guys are out there consuming this shit, taking in all this shit, talking about how you want it, thinking about how you want it, and then looking at other people and fucking hating on them for doing what the fuck it is that you wanted to do. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. And your fucking life tells the story. There ain't no fucking unfair bullshit happening here. There's no fucking, you're not a fucking victim. You're a victim of yourself. You're a victim of your own fucking bitch ass voice that tells you not to do the shit that you know you're supposed to do. That's the truth. It's very simple. You got to make a decision that you are not going to be like everybody else. You are not going to fucking do what they do. You are not going to live how they live. You are not going to eat how they eat. You're not going to drink how they drink. You're not going to do the kind of work they fucking do. And then you got to go do that. And you got to do it one day at a time. Okay? I don't even know why you fuckers listen to this shit anymore. Like, I don't even know why you even listen to what I'm giving you everything. It's one day at a fucking time. Okay? You wake up, you do everything you can to make that day a win. That's it. That is the fucking secret to this, dude.